Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Plutus IS. Today, we are going to discuss about the most important hacks to clear the prelims. In the previous video, where I have gone live, we have discussed about how we can get 90 plus through the different strategies. And today, I'm going to discuss 5 hacks where we can score maximum in the prelims. So the hacks are not very different from what you have heard. It must be same, but then you need to filter it out in your own way. Why? Because today it's very important because next 10 days it's very important that how you study and how you revise all the syllabus that you have covered so far. I have already told you that you have to identify at least 3 subjects which you think that these 3 subjects are really important, and apart from that, then you need to analyze that how I'm going to score. So I'll tell you the strategy. You take 2 or 3 PYQ, or you can take the test papers from 2023, 24, 22. Take one subject, for example, polity, and try to solve those questions the way you want to. And try to see, when you analyze all the 3 papers continuously, then analyze how many questions you are getting correct. If you are getting in the polity, for example, 15 or 20 questions are coming in particular year, and if you are getting maximum right, like 15 or 14 right, then that means that your polity is good to go, and then you do not need to revise a lot in polity. Similarly, you try it for the other subjects. For example, for the geography you can try, for environment you can try, economics you can try. And when you try to understand those topics, then you will realize that if you are not getting the 50% of the questions correct, that means you need a quick revision on that. And it's not too late. 10 days are too much to revise a subject when you have already done it. It's just that you need a certain direction to understand that, and you need a quick revision. You need to just go through all the topics that you have gone through. You need to memorize it before just going to the examination hall. Also try to understand that in the PYQ, a lot of questions are there where elimination techniques are working, even in the statements which are saying one statement is correct, second statement is correct, does the first statement supports the second statement, or the second statement supports the first statement, or they are individually correct. So in such type of questions, you have to analyze that elimination does work. A lot of people used to think that no, it doesn't work in those questions, that elimination is not going to work. But if you try to analyze that paper or that particular question where statements are there, then you will see, yes, it works. So elimination has to be applied on those questions, and with those intelligent guess, you try to solve those questions, and you will be able to solve it very nicely. Apart from that, if you talk about the questions which neither lies in all the subjects, for example, there must be some questions which are from the current affair. You will put them under, or you will segregate them as maybe the topic from the governance or the science or IT. But then these questions are really helpful in getting the score high. Then what you can do, you can just go through the current affairs, you can revise them. Only most important, for example, science and IT, which is important, then you can just cover it up quickly. You do not have to pay so much of attention, because what I see, a lot of people in science, if they are reading some topics, for example, biotechnology, then they are doing the deep analysis on it. If you look at the past year question, then the question which have been asked are very simple. The question has been asked from the surface level. You do not need to have so much of analysis of particular topic. Rather, you should have the analysis of more topics. and that too superficially, so that you can understand through the intelligent guesses which is the right answer. If you're doing geography, make sure you also do the mapping, and through the mapping you will be able to solve at least 2 to 3 questions. I'm talking about world geography also in this. For example, in world geography you are marking some area and that question has come already. Now try to analyze area deeply. For example, I'll tell you which are the area which are very important, because Russia-Ukraine war is going on. Therefore, Mediterranean Sea is really important. Black Sea is really important. Pacific Ocean is really important. So these are the areas that you have to focus on. Basis on what? On which the current affairs has come, and also analyze the past year questions. Try to look at the maps and solve the questions. From there, only the questions are going to get repeated thematically, and otherwise also because in the current affairs they were in the news. So try to make the coherence with them and solve the questions. Polity, geography, environment, we have talked about. Then analyze if history or economics is your strength, then do that likewise. Apart from that, you can apply 80-20 rule. What is this 80-20 rule? For example, 80% questions are coming from the 20% of that syllabus. Earlier also I have discussed about this part where the fundamental rights or the PSP are majorly very important, from which the maximum questions have come from. So do not leave that part at least. Maximum questions are going to come from there. If you will try to put your 80% energy for that particular portion, then you will get the maximum out of it. And same applies to economics also, to history also. Try to identify the areas which are really important, from where the maximum time the question has been asked. For example, economics, money and banking is really important. Then do not leave a question from that. And apart from that, also make sure that when you are analyzing the options, do not leave any option without analysis. For example, A, B, C, D is the options that you're having. Then try to analyze why option A got wrong, why option B got wrong. Do not jump onto the right answer, but also analyze the other remaining options which are there. Because what happens maximum time, the questions are framed from those options only, and then it can come to you in the next year. This is what the best strategy looks like. And the confusion that you are having, how many times we should revise the syllabus? You do not have to revise the whole syllabus first of all. Only the most important part, from where the maximum question comes. You have to just revise only that portion only. And how many times? At least 3 times. Concise the resources, maximize the revision. I'll again say, concise the resources, maximize the revision. The more revision you will do, the more confident you will be in the examination hall. Do not go for the other resources at this time. Do not try to buy any new book. Do not create any FOMO. Do not try to learn any new thing. Just revise. I would say the revision is the ultimate guidance at this point of time, when you must be confused, perplexed, too much of anxiety. But then what is the way out? The only way out is the revision. And revision from the most important topics of the syllabus. We have talked about 3-4 methods that how we can attain. Now I'll talk about the intelligent guess. 50-50 principle. What is that? When there must be some of the questions which will be thrown at you, and those must be not related to what you have already studied. Then try to use your intelligent guess. It's not a fluke. There's too much of difference between the intelligent guess and fluke. Try to analyze the pattern. For example, if certain question has been asked on certain topic, but the question has been asked in a very different format. For example, in 2024 only, the static portion, we could see a very different pattern where the match the following were having the 3 columns. A lot of people got confused how to even deal with it. So in such question, you have to take a moment and analyze that particular question, how you can get it correct. So obviously there the common sense will be applied. So in such questions, I would say that try to understand that which portion you can eliminate the first. Which seem to be too vague, eliminate that. And then there must be some questions where you will see extremity is there. For example, extreme statements. Only. Should. These types of statements are most of the time, not always, most of the times are wrong. So try to analyze it. And these are the general hacks which I've given to you, which you can apply in all the subjects. We'll also talk about CSAT. If I'll talk about reading comprehension, try to solve at least 2 to 3 mock tests before going to prelims. CSAT is must, and one cannot pass the stage without qualifying the CSAT. So there is no way out. The only way out is that you have to practice that. So before going to the examination, I prefer that 2 to 3 papers you should try, and also try that if reading comprehensions are getting tough, then what is a way out in the examination hall which can save you and get you qualify in that exam. For example, in 2023, the maths portion was very difficult, but then there were students who could qualify that. That instant strategy, that common sense that people have used, that you have to understand. So if maths is getting it's not cup of tea, then you should focus on the other portion. For example, logical reasoning and reading comprehension. But then how to do that? You have to practice it first. I'll talk about reading comprehension, how you have to practice it. Ideally, 25 to 28 questions are going to come in CSAT. Attempt at least 23, 22 questions and try to focus on those questions which are having short paras, or maybe the questions which are having 2 to 3 subparts, because they are going to give you more marks in less time. And the passages which are very long and having only one question, they are difficult also, because sometimes the vocabulary is too difficult to understand, and then you have to leave that question. Do not run after it. Do not waste your time for 10 to 15 minutes in that particular question. Try to understand that and then take the time. If you do not get it in first 1 minute or 2 minutes, then just leave it. Jump onto another question. For the logical reasoning also, practice that before, so that you can know how you have to attempt the whole part of it. In the reasoning portion, I would say why the reasoning is most important, because in the less time you will be able to solve it. For example, there is a pattern question which always comes, which has B, B, A, C, dash, A, B, B, C. Practice those questions first and also attempt them first. Why? Because in the less time you will be able to solve that. There's a little trick that you have to apply, and then you will be able to solve. How many questions to attempt in CSAT? At least 50 to 52 questions, provided your negatives are very less. Maximum 50 to 52 questions, or maybe the range could be 48 also. But try to minimize the errors. And try to solve the questions in a way that it gives around 25 questions you get it correct in the first half and rest of them in the second half. Because with the CSAT, time management is the biggest problem. They say that paper was okay, it could have been solved, but then we got short of the time. We were running out of the time. So then you have to analyze that, how you have to manage it. Go for the questions which are easier, low hanging fruits, and then jump onto the other questions. We have talked about reading comprehension, we have talked about logical reasoning. I have told you yesterday also, in other lectures also, that number system is very, very important. Do not skip that. Do number system thoroughly, especially the number system which is having exponential value. For example, 9 raised to power, they are having multiples 1, 1, 1 in. So you have to solve such questions. And if you really don't want to attempt such questions, then your logical part should be very, very strong. Make sure that. Last but not the least, your OMR sheet should be very well kept, and you should fill the right option against it. And I'm again and again saying that for performing well in the examination hall, you should have the proper routine, sleep cycle of yours, at least before 1 week. That is the most important thing that you can apply. In fact, you should apply from today itself. 1 week is too less. Do not try to sleep after 11 or 12, because then it can hamper the reasoning ability, the presence of mind which is needed the most in the exam. You will lack it somewhere in the examination hall otherwise. So I wish that you can apply all of these tricks and then clear the exam easily.